Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video I wanted to give the Ether Beauty Joshua Tree another go. So I recently finished up doing my palette series, so where I went through every palette and created a look from it, just because there are some palettes that I didn't get a lot of use out of and I wanted to make sure, kind of revisit them and have a play. And I think it was the second to last episode was the Joshua Tree palette, and I actually quite like the look I did, and I did use it a little bit before that for an autumn look as well. I thought let's play with it again. I've kind of watched a few videos of other people and what kind of looks they do with it, so I'm just going to sit, I'm just going to play with it. I think I might do I've got 4 eye looks in mind, so I'm just going to do one on one eye, one on the other, so it's not going to be a cohesive look as such, but sit and play and see what I want to do with this palette. Admitted that the neutrals in here, sorry I should have shown this at the beginning if you hadn't seen it before, the neutral side, these work perfectly fine, just like the other palettes. It's these colours that I struggled with, and to be fair, I watched back the video where I very first tried this palette many years ago, I want to say about 5, and to be fair, the look I was doing was quite heavy and quite grungy and possibly didn't give it the best chance then. Admittedly I have tried it here and there since, but I thought let's just play, and I'm thinking of doing another little palette series, which we'll see if this palette will be part of it at the end of this video. So I know a lot of people do like this palette. For me, I just struggled with it a bit, but I want to give it another chance and play with a few looks. So the first 2 I'm going to do, one will be very much the neutral side, and then one will be kind of neutral but I'm adding pops of colour. And the final 2 eyes will be playing a bit more with the colour, just so I can show you, or just at least play with most of the colours in this palette. So, I've zoomed you in. Oh, why are you not focusing? It's not late at night at all, it's almost 6 o'clock, but obviously it's getting darker now. So I don't know if, I'm not using any artificial lighting yet, I may have to. So we'll just see how we get on for now, but let's crack on with this. So, Lily Lola eye primer as always. I'll prep and prime both eyes ready to go. Like I said, I'm going to do one eye one way, the other eye another way, just as I want to kind of play with this. So not a full look, but we'll see how we get on with it. So starting with this eye, I'm going to do very much the neutral look, and I'm going to do the look I did in a shorts not too long ago with it, just to kind of show you that the neutral side does work quite well. And I have to apologise, I've had my base makeup on all day, so it may look not as fresh as it could. Okay, so starting off with the shade Rosewood down here on a flat brush. I'm going to pick some of this up, tap off. And I did a very just a classic smoky eye with this really. So I just tap it onto the lid. Just lay that pigment down. I might not do the lower lash line for the first 2 looks, just because well, actually I guess I could do it, doesn't matter, I can redo the concealer underneath. Like I said, it's the end of the day, so I'm just playing with the makeup at this point. So stippling motions, tap that on. Okay, then I'm going to take a fluffier brush and we're going to go in with Tumbleweed next. And we're going to start blending this shade out. Sorry, my mirror's a pain. Sorry, a lot of my brushes are kind of molting. I did a lazy trick of putting my brushes in a sock and putting them through a washing machine, because I had so many dirty ones that I thought cleaning them all individually I wasn't feeling it. I've done it before and it works okay, but what we've got to remember is not to put any brushes in that have any flaking on the handles, otherwise they get stuck in all the brushes, and I didn't do that. And I've doing my base today, there was bits all over my face where it obviously got mashed into the brush itself. So note to self, either keep up with cleaning your brushes or only put through the good condition brushes. Okay, so we've got a little bit of patchiness here. I'm going to go back in with Rosewood on the fluffy brush. Focus. Yeah, I might have to put a little light on in a minute. I'm going to put that into crease, just going to help with that patchiness there. Right, yeah, give me a second. Ooh, that's better. Might help with the focus. Okay, I am going to take some Rosewood onto the lower lash line as well, so I will do all of it. So this Rosewood's a really pretty colour. Take some more Tumbleweed, and we're going to use that to blend this bit out. Now I'm going to blend out the upper bit further with another shade in a minute. Quite a smoky eye here. Okay, taking... do I want to take a different fluffy brush? Yes, I do. So I'm going to take a much fluffier brush this time. I'm going to go in now with... I'm going to take a little bit of Poppy. And go over the edges. Oh, there you go. You can see a bit of the fleck of a brush handle. I'm just going to take my brush I use for the eye primer just to kind of tidy up the outer portion slightly down here. And then finally for this eye I'm going to go in with Pixie Rock. Same fluffy brush first and use that just to kind of do a final blend and sort of highlight the brow bone. And then I'm also going to, on a slightly smaller brush, we'll go with a pencil brush, take Pixie Rock, and I'm going to pop it in this inner corner here. And blend it into Rosewood just to kind of get a bit of a brightening effect in this inner corner. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to quickly load up the lashes with some mascara. Ilia Limitless in Before Dawn. I won't go too heavy mascara because I'm actually going to remove this in a minute. Okay, so that is the first look done. So like I said, the neutrals I think perform pretty well in this palette. I'd say not as well as some of the other palettes, but overall, I mean, that's given a really pretty smoky eye, hasn't it? Let's be honest. Quite autumnal as well. So there was a little bit of patchiness when I first was blending the, what was it, Tumbleweed with Rosewood. But when I went back in with a bit of Rosewood just to help blend, it worked absolutely fine. So yeah, that's quite a standard neutral eye, smoky eye, and like I said, the neutrals do work quite nicely in here. I am kind of sticking with the neutral theme, but I'm adding pops of colour now, so I'm going to add these two. This is Citrine and Ember Glow, and create a bit of a, not quite a sunsetty eye, but almost. So I'm going to use the same fluffy brush. I'm just kind of getting some excess off here. I think I might start with Citrine, the yellow. A fluffy brush. And I'm going to pop this into the crease and smoke it out. I think it's going to be more when we get to the other two looks is where I'm going to test how blendable they are, because I think it's the other side of the palette, or the other half of the palette is where I really struggled last time. I'm taking some of Ember Glow, sorry, which is the orange, and I'm going to, same brush, I'm going to work that onto the lid, just mainly the outer portion, do more circular motions. And I'm going to build it slightly into the crease as well. So like I say, yeah, slightly more of a sunsetty eye we're going for on this side. Take a bit more Citrine, the yellow, on a fluffy brush and just kind of go over again. I think what I want to do is take a really clean fluffy brush and nothing on it, I just want to kind of just go over the edges slightly. Okay, I am going to deepen up the outer portion ever so slightly, I think. So I'm going to go in with Tumbleweed. I don't want to go as dark as Rosewood, I don't think, for this one. On the fluffy brush, and I just want to blend into the outer portion. Try not to bring it into the crease, I want it more focused on the outer portion of the lid. I don't know if that's really worked. I'll take a bit more of Ember Glow, which was the orange, and just kind of go over that slightly. I'm not sure that those two shades really meshed that well together. And I'm going to take a bit more citrine. I just got these fluff. Re-intensify the outer portion a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure Tumbleweed quite meshed well with those two colours, but we shall carry on. I want to take now just a flatter fluffy brush. I'll go in with this. I'm going to pick a bit more citrine, the yellow, and I actually just want to pack this in the inner portion of the eye. A bit more of that yellow just there. They have got a good bit of pigmentation. It was, yeah, like I said, previous times it's been the blendability, and actually some of the colours just don't seem to blend together well. Tumbleweed I felt like didn't quite, but I've made it work, so I think it's okay. Just to do it, tidying up again. And you know, I'm going to add a bit of a wing to this, so I'm going to take a little brush, and actually I'm going to go in with, oh, I don't know how to pronounce that, mesquite. And just create a nice wing shadow. Okay, I'm just going to tidy it up. Get it sharper. Yep, I like that. Let's get the, where did my mascara go? Oh, it's right in front of my eyes. Okay, let's layer out this mascara. Oh, I like that eye actually. Okay, that's that eye done. I actually really like that colour of the eye. Like I said, Tumbleweed just needed a bit of work to get that to blend in. But I like the overall look and style of the eye. Again, both are very autumnal looks, which is perfect. Okay, so which out of these two is your favourite? These are a bit more like I said, it's not neutral, but what I'm going to call the neutral autumnal looks. I think... oh, I don't know actually. I think I'll go for this one just because I like the style of it. I like having a wing these days, and I just like my upper lash line done only sometimes. I do like the colour of this Rosewood though. I think it brings out the blue in my eyes quite nicely. Yeah, let me know which eye is your favourite. So far, so good. Right, I'm going to remove these two, and we're going to do slightly more of the colourful ones and play with the other half of the palette, which is what I struggled with the last few times I've played with this. So I'm going to take those eyes off and I'll be back in a... Okay, I am back and I've done the best I can to kind of retouch up my eyes. So my primer's on there. So for the next one, I kind of want to do a halo look, and I want to use the purple and the pinky shades from here. This was one of my shades that I was really excited to try along with this shade when I first got the palette, and both kind of did let me down a bit. So let's see how I get on this time. I feel like as well my eyeshadow technique is improved since 5 years ago when I first played with this, so I'm hoping that kind of helps. And we'll just see. So I'm looking at my brushes over here, deciding what brush I want to use next. I should have picked them out before starting filming. Okay, I'm just taking a little flat brush to begin with. I am going to go in with the shade Prickly Pear first on a flat brush. So Prickly Pear on a flat brush, and I'm going to pop this onto the outer and inner portion of the lid. I may have brought this a bit too far over this side, but I can fix that with eye primer. Okay, I'm then going to take a small tapered brush, or a smallish, oh no, that's the other one. Yeah. Nice small tapered brush. I'm going to take Prickly Pear again, and I'm going to go into the crease this time, and kind of help just to blend that out slightly into the crease. See, it's not blending amazingly. I feel like these fun shades is what makes the palette. It was something a bit different from Ether Beauty. I mean, I don't think this palette's available anymore anyway, so, but, yeah. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere. Just going to go back in one more time with Prickly Pear. Okay. Right, that will do for now. Then what I'm going to do is take the flat brush again, but this time we're going to go in with Wildflower. I'm just going to brush off some of that shade, and I'm going to just deepen up the outer and inner portion, but not bring it as far across. That's a beautiful shade. Okay, take that small taper brush again. I'm just going to slowly buff that in because I don't want to bring it too far across, but obviously I need it to be blended into Prickly Pear. Actually, I will take a little bit more Prickly Pear, which was the pinkier of the shades, just to help with the blend. I'm getting somewhere. I'd say it's still not blending that well, but I'm happy with how it's looking at the same time. I don't know, I feel like you can really see the stop-start of Wildflower and Prickly Pear there. Taking a bit more of Prickly Pear just to see if I can help blend that out a bit better. Okay, I think that's helped. Okay, now like I said, I do think I brought that shade a bit too far over, so what I'm going to do is take a little flat brush and pick up a bit more eye primer, not a lot, and I'm just going to dab in the centre. I like to do this with halos anyway because it just re-intensifies whatever colour you put in the middle, and then just really makes the spotlight sections stand out a bit more. So I would do this regardless to a degree. Okay, that's better. It's a bit more, slightly more central. I'm actually going to use that same brush again, and I'm going to go with Pixie Rock, sorry, for the centre shade. I'm just going to pat that in that centre bit. I'm not worried about blending just yet. I just want to get that shade down. I'm also going to pop it in the inner corner, I think, as well. Keep going up. Okay, like that. Then what I'm going to do is take the small fluffy brush. I'm going to go with Prickly Pear first. I'm going to start reintroducing that a little bit onto this outer portion of Pixie Rock, just to kind of make the transition a bit more seamless. Oh yeah, I like that actually. Side. And then I'll do the same with Wildflower. I'm still going to use that small fluffy brush because I don't want to be darken out too much, and just kind of like feather it inwards slightly. I still want all three shades to be visible, but just blended nicely together. And I'm just going to take the excess across this middle bit here as well, very lightly. Okay. Just blend that a bit more, and then what I'm going to do, the final step, is actually, do you know what? Rub that brush off, take more of Pixie Rock, tap off, and just do a bit of a kind of a brow bone highlight. Okay, I'm not going to worry about the lower lash line for this, because it's made the lid with these colours that I want to see them work. Lower lash line, you can kind of make most colours work, even if they're not the best blending shadows, because although you do blend down there, you do want it a bit starker sometimes, or like a bit more bolder anyway. So I'm just going with mascara. Possibly brown mascara isn't my first choice for this look, but it was on my desk, so it works, just with a few light layers, I think. Okay, so that's that eye done. I actually quite like this eye. I still say they aren't the best at blending as such together. I'd say I've got shadows that are definitely better than that, but it's working better than when I first tried it, and I do think it's possibly down to not my new technique, but my technique hopefully improving, and knowing kind of what works, what doesn't work a bit better. Because like I said, when I first tried this, it was 5 years ago. Oh, actually, do you know what? I quite like that eye. Okay, let's do this eye. So I want to do a green smoky eye because, like I said, this was one of the shades, which is Agave, was the one that I was really excited about, as well as Wildflower, because kind of blues and greens are my favourite kind of colours. So we're going to give it a try. And I actually, this green smoky eye, I tried to do on my very first impressions of this palette, and it didn't work out. And I do think it's because I went a bit heavy as well, and very grungy. I'll leave it linked in case you want to go back and see it. So I'm going to try a different way this time, and I'm going to go lighter handed and build up that way, because I think I very much went full force with the pigment as well, instead of like building up gradually. But we shall see. I'm going to start off with the shade Poppy, a fluffy brush, so I'm going to build up a bit of a crease first. And I kind of saw someone, I can't remember what their name was, do something very similar to this. That's why I'm kind of taking a bit of inspiration from that. So I take some of this through the crease. And what I'll do is I'll leave down below the kind of people I had a look at who use this palette and I got a bit of inspiration from. so you can see. Okay, I'm going to go in with Tumbleweed next and build up this crease slightly. Is that Tumbleweed? Yeah, that's Tumbleweed. Not bring as high up, kind of more crease focus this time. Getting fluff everyone. Back and forth. Apologies, I'm not really doing this as a tutorial as such. Just kind of want to have a play, and like I said, it's kind of towards the end of the day-ish. It is now pitch black outside. On the same fluffy brush, I am going to take a little bit of Pixie Rock just to kind of soften these edges slightly. Okay, now I'm going to work on the lid, and I'm going to not go in with a Garve straight away. I'm actually going to go in with Joshua Tree first, a slightly lighter the green, build that up, make sure it's blended in the crease, and then go in with a Garve. I think that might be the option. So flat brush, some of Joshua Tree, and tap off. I don't want to take too much of this to begin with, and I'm going to pat this over the lid. And I'm going to slowly build up the pigmentation as I go. Well, I said slowly, and I kind of slowly piled that on. It's fine. I'm going to add this. Now, admittedly, obviously greens can be quite hard to mix with these colours. You don't make them look too muddy as well. So I'm just going to take, for now, just take the same fluffy brush I used for the kind of crease shades and go back in. Not picking up any extra product yet, we're just going to go back and forth. I will take some of Tumbleweed, which was the second shade we took. Just add that into the crease a bit more. Okay, I'm going to take a bit more of Joshua Tree because I do want to build this up slightly. It is looking a little patchy near the crease area. I've tried to blend the two colours together. Take a little bit more, kind of re-intensify the green. And then go back in the brush. I'm not picking any extra product this again. And don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to blend this. Now, what I want to do actually, take my concealer brush and tidy this bit up because this is kind of putting me off slightly. There's a bit of a neater inner corner there. That's better. I'm just going to take that fluffy brush and just feel like this edge needs something, a bit of a blender. Okay. I'm now going to dip into Joshua Tree. Same brush, but I'm only going to tap in a few times. And I'm going to start this on right by the lash line and slowly work it up. Okay, so we're going to do that for now. I'm going to take, not this fluffy brush, I'm going to take a fresh fluffy brush, pick some of Joshua Tree up, so the previous green we used, and use that to blend out a Garve. Okay, pick up a little bit more a little bit more Garve, sorry, which is the darker of the greens, the one that I really wanted to like. And build up a little bit more, again, kind of more on the lid, trying to get it nowhere near the crease. Fluffy brush, pick up a bit more of Joshua Tree. And again, go back and forth in that crease. Okay. It's getting there. I think there's a little bit of patchiness going on. I'm going to go back to the brush I used for, if I pick it up, the browns. I'm going to go in with Poppy. And kind of go over the edge bit and the crease a little bit. And then I'm going to take a bit of Pixie Rock, which is the really light pinkish shade. Do a bit of a brow bone highlight and a bit of a blend in the inner corner here. And I think ooh, well, there's a bit of citrine in the inner corner actually. Let's do a bit of citrine, see what it's like. That's the yellow. Oh, I don't know about that was a good idea or not. Oh, kind of. I might with this one do the lower lash line as well. I am not hating this. I do think it's not perfect in the crease. I'm not sure I can get it much better than that, to be honest, with the blending. They are quite difficult shades to blend, the greens. I think because they are so matte. But let's do the lower lash line because I think actually it looked quite good. I am actually going to go straight in with Agave, which is the darker of the greens, on a pencil brush. And go along the lower lash line. Let's go a bit deeper than that. Cool. Let's then take this one. A fluffy brush, we're going to go in with, let's go with Poppy. And blend it out. This side reminds me of what look you can kind of do with the Subculture palette from ABH. And I think I had like a Makeup Revolution dupe of that palette, which I actually quite enjoyed, but it was tricky to blend the kind of orangey greens together. Okay, I'm going to take a bit of citrine, just to kind of mimic that as well. Okay, the only shade I actually haven't used today is New Moon, which is the black, or is it black actually? It kind of looks like a really dark green. I might actually just, for the sake of it, use it on this look. I'm going to take a pencil brush, pick some of that up, and do my, kind of just go along the upper lash line, right by the lash line, just to define it a little bit. I might take a little bit along right the outer portion of the lower lash line as well. And then what I'll do is take the brush I used for Joshua Tree and just kind of blend that into the greens a little bit, not a lot, just a bit. Okay, I'm not unhappy with what's going on here. Oh, I am unhappy with doing that, but luckily it's not a full-on look that I'm doing, so we can ignore a bit of the fallout. Right, let me just put some mascara on this eye quickly. Ah, there we go. Do you know what? I'm very happy I did this. Well, first of all, I'm very happy I did the palette series, which if you haven't seen, that is on my YouTube shorts. I started it back in March, maybe, and going through all my palettes. Admittedly, there was Nude by Nature palette, didn't feature just because I got it kind of whilst the series was happening, but everything else did. And yeah, this was like second to last one. And as it went quite well, I thought, oh, should we revisit the palette again? Like I said, it's been 5 years since my first impressions. Zoom out a little bit. I'm hoping my technique has improved, and I do think I have worked the shadows better this time round. Like I said, I will link the first impressions below, and you will notice I feel like I went too heavy and too hard with the shadows. I think that's why I really struggled to blend some of them out, whereas if you build it up slowly, you get somewhere. Like I said, I still think it's not the best for blending as such, and some of the colours aren't that easy to work together, but I am very happy with the outcome of these looks actually, especially these two, because these were the two that I thought were going to be the tricky ones because they are the more colourful ones. But I am very happy. I do like the combination of those two colours together, but I'm actually really quite liking this eye as well. So let me know your thoughts down below. Which one overall was your favourite? I think potentially this one might be my favourite overall, just because I was really happy that I finally got to kind of make that shadow work, because like I said, Agave was one of the ones I was most keen to play with when I first got this palette. So yeah, that is this video complete. I know it's a bit of a mix mash. I do think I want to start another little palette series where I kind of pick a palette a month or 2 palettes a month, and kind of just see how many looks I can use creating them. I'm not sure whether I'll keep it just YouTube short focused or incorporate them into a YouTube video. I'm thinking of doing the Joshua Tree palette, which is kind of half the reason I did this as well, just to really get a bit more full use out of this. And then also the e.l.f. Jewel Pop palette for this month, purely because this was actually the final palette I used in the palette series, and actually I feel like the shadows have got very dry in this palette and don't work as well. So I'm very tempted to declutter this palette, which is why I thought it could be one of the palettes I really focus on this month, just to make sure that is what I want to do with this palette. Same with this one, although I think actually I probably won't declutter this one now. And yeah, I don't know, let me know if that's something you'd like to see palette series wise. Yeah, I really hope you enjoyed. Please leave any requests for future videos down below, any questions, any comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.